Okay, so here we are with Albert. Albert's from Auckland, New Zealand, and he's a member of the drop servicing blueprint. So far, in the last 6 months, he's made $35,000 in his business. And yeah, he's going to tell us a bit about his story, inspire us, and maybe just intro yourself a little bit, Albert. Tell us about your story and how you got started.
Okay, well, firstly, I came across your YouTube channel, I think around late 2019, and I decided to implement all of the steps that were outlined in the free material. And right now, of course, there's a lot more on YouTube. But back at that time, using just with the knowledge that was available, I was able to build my own website, which was kind of modeled with Dylan's website, and I was able to make a sale, I think, um, around 3 months. It was only $300, but on 3 months, and then I was able to make a quick sale. And then I thought that this was entirely possible, and then I started making more and more sales, small sales. But if with that money, I was actually able to buy Dylan's course. I sent him the funds through PayPal, and yeah, that's how I got started with the drop servicing. But yeah, it was through your YouTube channel initially.
Okay, awesome. That's cool. I think most people see through like a YouTube ad. So it's pretty cool that you actually saw it through the free content and got your first sale before even joining the blueprint. So maybe talk us through that process where you actually, jumped into the blueprint itself. What was it like going through that?
Well, initially, I mean, because I've already built the website, I've already spent the money, doing my research and everything. I initially thought that I could bypass everything. When you first join the course, you have to wait until the weeks are unlocked because if you get everything all at once, I think a lot of people would not be able to. They would just like give up because you actually need to follow all of the steps in each of the weeks. But because I already had everything, I thought, okay, I just need the secret, which is that week 6 or 7, I believe, the back door to Dylan's business. So I got that, but I was quite overwhelmed because there's a shit ton of content, and I ended up implementing a lot of the knowledge that was actually in the first few weeks actually, and I thought that I didn't need that because I thought I already had everything under control, but um, Dylan put a lot of effort into the course, and there's a lot of things that I obviously missed, and I didn't even think about all these little tactics and all these little strategies and mindsets and belief systems that really helped me. So that was that. But the main thing that I mean, the course was very in depth, and it keeps on being added with new material. Um, but what I really found very useful was, because there's so much content, I would sometimes forget a lot of things, and I'd be able to ask that on the forums. And Dylan, he's always there to actually, to comment and answer on the questions. And you do your live streams religiously, so every week. So if I ever have any questions, I felt like, oh, I can just ask you.
Yeah, that's cool. And I guess once you actually jumped in, you started going through all of that content. Was there anything that kind of sparked your insight, and you were like, what? You were like, wow, this is something really different, or was it kind of what you expected when you jumped in?
Okay. It was much more information that I would have ever guessed from a course. I mean, this course is so in depth, and there's so much information. And I told you it's I've had 35,000 in the last 6 months. So, and that's only implementing a few strategies that were implementing. I mean, that was in the course. But of course, there's advertising, and there's many other ways that I could be tweaking things and finding clients and closing them. I mean, I was just overwhelmed because there's so much information, and because I found what works for me, I got, I kind of ignored everything else, and I just focused on what was working for me, the strategies that were working for me, and I became very myopic until it didn't work anymore. And then and then I went back to the course and all the files that are in the course, and then and I'd be implementing the steps that are in the course, as well as asking questions. Yeah, there's just so much. I mean, I was just that was that one thing. I was just overwhelmed with so much information, and all of it's very relevant as well. So you put in a lot of effort with this course.
Cool, yeah. And I guess maybe talk us through that process of getting your first sale, because I think most people when they're starting an online business for the first time, the biggest thing is getting over that hurdle of the first sale and realizing that it's possible. So tell us a little bit about that story. What was it like for you getting your first sale?
Well, for me, I knew it was entirely possible because I mean, what actually inspired me to do the explainer video and also kind of model it on your website was powerful sales video compared to other studios. It didn't, the website design itself did not look as fancy or as professional looking as these other studios. So I thought, okay, if this guy's making this much money from this not such a good looking website, then I feel like I can do that too. And also because we're from New Zealand as well. But yeah, so I thought I just knew that it was possible. So initially for me, before even joining the course, I was like, oh, how am I going to get clients? And then I thought, okay, cold email. So I learned as much as I could about cold email, and I just spammed the hell out of so many people. And just through spamming and obviously just one's gonna stick. And I did end up getting on a sales call, which I was very terrified with because this was my first ever call, and I thought I had the imposter syndrome. And I thought that, oh my goodness, this guy's going to find out that I'm actually using freelancers and I'm actually overcharging him for it. So through the experience of this getting over so many calls and actually having a lot of sales, I just got over that hurdle and I started rewiring my mind with how to approach the sales call and how to sell better, with different mindsets, that I'm actually helping this business to save time and money. So yeah, I mean, initially it was very, very terrifying. But eventually I realized I needed to get over this fear of doing sales calls. And it became natural for me.
Mm-hmm. And maybe you could talk us through the process, because you mentioned, you went through a lot of mindset shifts. So what were the major shifts that you went through when it comes to how you perceived things in your mindset?
Firstly, I thought that my video, because I do the animated experience videos like yourself, I thought that the prices were unjustified because you have so many examples and testimonials, whereas I didn't. And prior to me actually joining the course, I didn't know that you could, just use Google Drive and use that strategy. But so I thought, I honestly thought that these people would not buy from me. And so with the mindset shift, that was more like, okay, they will buy from you if they trust you and if they find that you are the expert in this field. And also they, and I also felt like an imposter, because I had no experience with animating. I had no interest in it. I was just the person in the middle doing the marketing. And I thought, oh, firstly, it was a bit too expensive, which really isn't. And I thought that, because there's so many other businesses that, that are already established, I wouldn't be able to make it because I had so many competitors. And thirdly, it was the fact that me using freelancers, they would, if they found out that, then they would say no to the sale, no to actually sending me the money. So that's what I was very scared of. But then every time they would actually ask me, I would actually tell them honestly that I do use freelancers. And I was able to do that just because of the fact that I realized, hey, they can actually search up the freelancers themselves on Upwork or Fiverr, but it takes them a very long time for them to actually find the right freelancer at the right cost. Because a lot of these freelancers can be very, very expensive, or even more expensive than the freelancers that I'm using. So I'm saving them a lot of time, which these people do not have, and for them, they're making a lot of money. So I'm actually saving them a lot of money as well. And I make sure I put a lot of time in finding the best freelancers I can, so the best cost to that price to quality ratio. And so yeah, I really felt like I was actually helping them, and instead of like taking from them. And when I had that mindset shift, that's when I was able to be like, just to get on a sales call without any fear, because I really felt like I was giving value, and I was really helping them.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a really, really important thing as well, because a lot of people, when they start a business, I had this, every person I know that starts a business has that imposter syndrome. We feel like, we're not good enough to be selling what we're selling, or we're tricking the person that we're selling the thing to. But, as long as you're not lying to them, you're not tricking them, you're actually providing a pretty good value proposition, because you're bringing them a quality team at a good price. And like you said, most of your competitors charge a lot more than you do. And over time as well, I think you get more used to it once you start getting those first sales, once you start delivering the service and you realize that your clients are happy with the experience, then you start to gain that confidence in yourself and in your service. And I guess another important thing is also realizing that it's possible, because you mentioned that you saw that I was doing it, and it must be possible if I was doing it, which is cool. And then once you actually got your first sales, you were able to gain a lot more confidence in what you were doing as well. So I think the fact that you actually got those sales also kind of enabled that mindset shift as well, and kind of pushed you over the edge in terms of knowing that you can do it. It's kind of like, I guess, before you've done it, you kind of think you might be able to do it, but there's always still that doubt in the back of your mind. But then once you've actually done it, that doubt is completely wiped away, and you know that it's possible. So that's really cool. But one thing that we didn't get into yet, Albert, and I think is really interesting, is what got you into starting a business anyway? Why did you want to start a business, and why did you choose drop servicing?
Well, I just wanted to be a digital nomad. I thought it's really cool that you can have a laptop business and you can work whenever you want, wherever you want to. And I thought the drop servicing business model is just superior to a lot of these other business models, because the upfront cost is not actually that much at all, if any. And also, you're not actually making a loss if you're very smart about it. Because the profit margins can be very, very high, and the capital costs are very, very low compared to like brick and mortar or something. And also it's very and firstly I thought that I wouldn't be able to make so much money, but then I realized my entire I'm currently targeting the United States, but that's a huge country, and it's got hundreds of thousands of businesses and leads that I could be targeting. And so that was my initial motivation, when I thought, oh, okay, there's a lot of first the freedom, but then when I actually started getting the money, I realized I can scale it up and I can get a lot more money, just because the market out there is so big. Like let's just say that I had a business here in New Zealand, my clients would be only in New Zealand, you see, mostly. And also because I'd be paying my employees and also the rent costs and stuff like that, I would firstly need a huge capital investment, and also it'll be very expensive to run. Whereas this one is actually you're using, you're capitalizing on these inefficiencies in the market, which eventually it'll reach that equilibrium state where we won't be able to do it. But until then, I feel like, which is going to be a very long time from now. But we can make a whole lot of money on this with this business model. And yeah, this is kind of this is recession. This is with the whole COVID pandemic, with people working at home. I believe that companies are going to outsource to cheaper countries with a lot of their work anyway. So we're also learning a lot of how to market, how to actually run a business, a legit business. So it's very useful, this course.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and I mean, in terms of your business so far, you've made $35,000 in the last 6 months. What is kind of your long-term goal over the next year and 5 years?
Long-term growth. Firstly, I want to be able to consistently make at least 10,000 a month. That's the very minimum. And then if I can do that consistently, scale that up to maybe 15 or 20,000. And I honestly, even after my first sale, I honestly thought that I couldn't reach that $10,000 milestone. And then once I reached it, I was like, oh, it's actually not that much, So yeah, once you reach a certain milestone where you think that you can actually do it, and you do it, you kind of have a new goal. But currently, it's to consistently make a 10K per month, and then 5 years from now, because I've already learned all the business skills and the know-how in this course, the information on this course can be implemented for other drop servicing businesses you can have, such as what you're doing with your recurring Facebook advertising agency, something like that as well. So there's a lot of things I can be doing, a lot of opportunities, and a lot of things that with the skill sets I can implement. So that's what I'm thinking about doing the next few years. But
awesome.
Just be consistent.
Yeah, consistency. Yeah, and it's really interesting what you said as well about the $10,000 per month. It seems really unobtainable when you first get started, but once you hit that first $10,000 month, it's kind of like the person who ran the 4-minute mile, was it Roger Bannister? Like once somebody does it, then everyone else starts doing it. And once you see that you can do it, you end up doing it a lot more consistently pretty quickly. And I remember when I hit my first $10,000 month, after that, it just became easy. I started hitting it month after month. And the way I did that was I just kept making the same number of offers. And then I just kept getting the same amount, and then I made some more offers, and I made some more, just expanding the marketing channels and the offers that you're making. So yeah, I think it's really interesting. Of course, it's just like anything, if you haven't done it before, you're not going to fully believe that you can do it until you've actually done it. And the way you do it is just by pushing yourself forward, even when you aren't fully confident. And that's what I did. I mean, like one thing that's really interesting is, and you just mentioned that, once you achieve one part of your goal, then the goal becomes bigger. And I think that's true for most, entrepreneurial minded people. Like we always want to go after the next goal once we achieve one goal. And the realization that, the goal that we once thought was crazy and unobtainable becomes very obtainable. It ends up making us want to push forward even more to reach that next goal, because that's just who we are. But I think as well, it's just about realizing that all of these things are possible, and you can just look around you and see all of the other people doing it. And I think that's what's really cool about our group, is we do have a lot of people posting sales and results, and these interviews are really cool as well, talking to you guys and sharing your journeys. And I think it's really helpful for people that are getting started in drop servicing, is just realizing, hey, there are people out there, they are getting results. It's possible to do, but you do have to put in the work. You have to implement everything. And that's the most important thing to me, is just, enabling people to implement it by providing the best information. And yeah, thanks so much, Albert, as well. I mean, you're always really inspiring in the group, posting a lot of your results and sharing your journey with everyone. It's really, really helpful to everyone in the group there. And yeah, I mean, I look forward to discussing with you next in our next interview, once you hit that $10,000 per month consistently. I know you've already hit $10,000 a month, but you did mention consistently, so we can make that the next goal for our next interview. And you'll probably be in Bali somewhere on a beach, I assume, with your laptop. And yeah, I look forward to hitting that point over the next few months together. So thanks so much for joining me for the interview. Maybe if you have any final thoughts, any final words of inspiration for people watching.
Okay. A lot of I'll tell you about the mistakes that I made. Of course, it's very difficult to. I mean, this business, it's a superior business model, but you need to spend a lot of time to actually go through the steps that Dylan is actually, holding you by the hand to actually do it. And that's a thing that, that's the reason why it took a very long time for me to reach that 10K, because all the steps are actually there in the course, but I was just too lazy and I was procrastinating. And yeah, that is one thing. And also, don't be scared to reinvest back into the business and spend money on the business. And it is a risk, but without actually you spending money, eventually you're going to think that, oh, this really doesn't work. But no, it's actually because you haven't actually spent that money to be able to scale the business up properly so that you can actually reap the rewards. But you can do it very, very cheaply. But I'm just saying that if you really want to save some time, don't be afraid to actually invest in business. Compared to any other business model or real physical brick and mortar business, this business is it's very, very inexpensive. And yeah, I would really highly recommend every one of you to actually it's okay to ask questions, but make sure you actually view the videos that's in the course, and only when you're truly not unsure, you can just ask the questions on the thing, because I see so many questions that have been clearly laid out in the video many times, and I don't know how you have the patience to always be continually answering the exact same questions over and over and again.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for the course. I mean, I'm sure you've changed a lot of people's lives, and you've certainly changed my life with your course, with your dedication, your hard work, and your smarts.
Yeah, appreciate that, Albert. That's what I'm here for, man. I'm here to create the best course and help you guys achieve those goals as well. And yeah, thanks so much again for the interview and everything you do in the group. Keep it up, and we'll do another one soon. Thanks everyone for watching, and talk to you soon.